Hi everyone, my name is Aemal Sayer. I'm an AI engineer specializing in building AI agents for SMEs. In the first episode, we spoke about how can we build this complex workflow of uploading invoices. In this episode, I will show you guys what I have done during the week, which was pretty much preparing that workflow that we were talking about. We spoke about a workflow like this where the invoices will be collected using an N8N workflow, basically from different places. Those will happen when we do have an API. And then we will have certain use cases where we will need to go and use computer use by Anthropic. Between last week and now, also Operator by OpenAI is released. I like Operator more, the way they have done things. It's browser-based and so on. But I have some things that I will cover probably in another video comparing Anthropic, computer use, and as well this setup that I have built. And we also thought about like triggering things that just as an endpoint that will allow us to know, okay, now this is now the task that we give the computer user, or whatever approach that I'll show you in just a minute, will trigger based on an endpoint, and then we'll go on and so forth. And we talked about some blind clicks, which I will show now in a more concrete example. What I think an ultimate solution that we could have is something like this. For not only this particular example that I'm working on, but pretty much for any sort of example that we work on. We need a low-code or no-code automation platform. N8N.io is the best for that. I have also checked Relevance AI. I checked a bunch of other platforms that provide automation. Obviously, Zapier and Make.com don't come close to it. So I will stick with N8N. And then we need some sort of an LLM. Since I'm focusing for SMEs in Germany, so it's more privacy aware companies, and they would like to have a fully GDPR compliant solution. Therefore, having a self-hosted LLM using Llama 3.x, whatever latest Llama version we have at the time, or using a ChatGPT that's a Microsoft Azure hosted ChatGPT. And then whatever we have that has an API, we do that based on that circle, on that feedback loop. Now there will be things that we do not have an API for. For example, the software that we are going to automate, right now I don't have those screens available in a way that I could show. I'll just take this example of this screenshot and explain it. The software that I'm going to automate, Dativ, looks something like this, and the invoices where we upload something looks something like this. If you see, these menus are like literally a lot small, and the way computer use and OpenAI's operator work, it's based on screenshots and OCR and understanding. So it will have a lot of trouble understanding exactly which row to click because the pixel difference between the two rows are so close to each other, and there is a lot of things going on one screen. So therefore, my intention is to combine two methods. One, I call it blind click. We can find a good name for it later. But one, this LLM approach of performing tasks. So for this kind of a user screen, maybe this weekend I cannot do this. I will show it just as a small proof of concept that I've done in just a minute. But probably next week I'll have Dativ running, and then I will simulate a click-through Dativ so that you guys can see exactly what I mean. And perhaps I will try to do it exactly the same steps with computer use and with operator from Anthropic and from OpenAI respectively. All right, so I ended I ended up finding this awesome project called WebTop. I think it's from linuxserver.io. What they did is they basically encapsulated any, not maybe any, but those specific Linux distros, and then they provide it for you within an image, just like a Docker image. You Docker compose up, and then you get a browser like this, which is basically a Linux distribution. It has Firefox. It's basically a browser. You can do things with this browser that you can do with any Firefox browser that you can run inside a computer. You can go to Google, you can do search, you can do everything. Eventually, the workflow that I will be automating that will go and load this web application .if or enter name and online will be basically inside this browser, and then we will automate it throughout the system. I have already automated something. I would like to quickly show you guys that, and then we'll see a few more things in this approach. So still I'm using Robot.js. I need to quickly open a new window of cursor here. We can SSH to this particular place inside the what I mean is inside the container. Let's see what. Okay, it's config Robot.js. Alrighty, so let's open this here. I'll explain a few small things here, changes that I have brought since the last time. The last time was like literally going through and clicking things around. What I do now is basically I have an Express server that listens to a few endpoints. One is called trigger automation. And when the trigger automation happens, it basically calls, it basically triggers this function, run automation. What this run automation does, it's blindly moving the mouse to certain areas of the screen and then clicks things and then types something and then clicks something, types something, clicks something, and so on. So let's go ahead and run it. I'm gonna run main.js. Now we have this particular port running, and what we are looking for is an endpoint which is a post endpoint to be triggered from here. But maybe I can quickly show you guys the old method, and then I'll show this method, because let's go to the old one, and then I'll show you the Express.js, because the Express one, I have a specific example for that, and I want to share it in the right context. So let's see what happens. I'm right now hitting enter, and then you can see I'm holding my hands up right now. I'm not typing. This is exactly the typing that's happening from that one script. It's going there, and now it's clicking on the builder. It clicks that image. It right clicks and saves it, and then it saves it inside that specific folder, the downloads folder. But the instructions for this one, if you see here, it's all step by step by step. It's explicit. Therefore, I call it blind clicks. And these pixels are taken using a screenshot tool, like this, for example. Oh, wait a minute. For example, in here, you saw that the mouse came here and then clicked. How did I get it? Like this. Basically, the screenshot tool, when I move this screenshot tool everywhere, it shows me exactly where to click. Now, if I quickly go to this example, I said like the LLMs or the LLM-based click-through workflow will fail on these kind of software is because with this blind click approach, I can go exactly click in a specific location. You can see I can point it exactly at one certain point of the screen, and then I click it in that location. And the good point is that it can run headless. We don't need a system to run it. It can run without a screen. It can run inside a virtual machine. And the exact dimensions of how this web application will be rendering can be determined. So this will be a deterministic coordinates of the screen that we'll click. And we will always know that there will be a checkbox. Or we can put the right measures around it to know with a very high probability, 99% probability, that there is a checkbox where I'm clicking right now. By taking screenshots, rendering it through an LLM, comparing a screenshot that we took when we were running it and asking, even like a simple pixel comparison check should give us a very good eye confidence layer. All right, so now I have this thing, and if I quickly show you here, I have in the downloads, I have got this TV tower.jpg. I'm going to move it to trash, and I will now show you the express way of doing it. So I run this one here. I hope it will work fine. I will also show you this entire process running headless. And I will open another terminal. I already have ngrok installed. I think it's inside downloads folder. Yes. So I will run ngrok on HTTP port on the port 3030, which is basically this local host, which is running inside a Docker container. Where's my Docker containers? Here. So basically this webtop is running here, and what I'm doing here is I'm exposing it, or I'm doing a reverse proxy to the world that this endpoint can be accessed from outside the world. I'm going to copy this. In order for you guys to see this screen, I will trigger this from my postman. Let me bring the postman here, and then before triggering it, I will just go away. So I will put this here, and we need the endpoint, which is /automation. So let's go to the postman /automation. It's a post. I'm not sure if I do send somebody. No, I don't send anybody. It's none. Okay. So that's it. Basically, if I trigger this from outside the world, I can trigger the entire automation inside the virtual machine. As you can see, it is just a domain. We can put this on our own domain. Right now I'm using ngrok to do the reverse proxy, but we can do this. This could be a domain that's tied up to that virtual machine, or a dedicated server that's running that virtual machine inside the machine using webtop. All right, so I moved the postman on the next screen. One time I'm going to run it without the, what do you call it? Without the without headless. One time I will run it with the browser, and one time I'll close the browser and show you guys the result. Okay, so let's try it this time without. I hope it will work. I clicked. Okay, perfect. So this time it didn't come from a terminal. It came from inside, outside world. We have an error, and also I got the error here, but since it's okay, let's debug this. Convert the property of undefined of last active at. Do I have something that? So these retry logics needs to be added. It's a very vanilla solution. So let's go ahead and check it out one more time. Perhaps the session was dead between this time that I ran it. There must be some garbage collection or something that's happening that cleans up the session. Looks good to me. This whole process needs to run one more time. And we will have like certain, it's going to become really nice project. I think it's a very detailed project. It will have certain make files, certain runners that will take care of all these crashes that right now this crash happened. This crash can happen anytime, especially when we're talking at scale. This will run in a lot of VMs. So there will be certain small little apps that will run and check the crashes, and then it will exactly execute these steps that I'm right now doing. So there is no other way to build this tutorial without documenting all these crashes as we go, because even I won't remember these crashes, and then I have some documentation that I can give it to my assistant developer to basically build these little codes. Okay, so I need to update this base URL here. I wish I would have taken a screenshot of that error, because I believe that there is an error and we need to fix it, but let's try it one more time. All right. Okay. There we go. So this time it's running. Right now I'm seeing a loader on. Perfect. It is working as expected. It just went through all the way. Okay, perfect. And I'm bringing Postman back here, and I got on the Postman the image that we are looking for. And if we go here on inside this Mata here, inside the Mata Linux distro, inside downloads, we should see tower.jpg, exactly the same image. All right, perfect. Now, as I said earlier, we're going to try it one more time with headless so that we can make our point. Let's move this to trash. As I said, it's super vanilla. It will not work if those things are not in place. So I'm going to close this. You saw that I closed it. It doesn't exist. It's not that the clicks are happening from my computer inside the VM. The clicks are actually simulated inside the VM. Regardless of the fact if it is rendering or not, it will work. So if it works again, we should see this session running one more time. Just let's make the whole thing again from here so that we can capture it. Am I doing anything wrong here? All good. Let's see. Okay, so we're assuming that right now inside the VM, all the clicks are running through, but we can also change this as a stream HTTP request or maybe WebSocket based so that it can keep sending logs of what's happening. I believe this will be, there we go. Since there were too many images, this time it brought a totally different image. So it took 16 seconds to do all the click-throughs, and eventually we got what we were looking for. Now imagine if this endpoint goes and sits inside an N8N workflow. So basically what we will have is, where is my Excali draw? So basically with this setup, what we will have is that from inside N8N, we will send some requests directly inside a virtual machine. Well, I didn't talk about this box yet. Let's talk about that in just a minute. But it will send some requests inside a virtual machine, this box, and then this box will do some execution, and then it will give a confirmation signal. And that confirmation signal will, let's call it just signal. That signal will go back to N8N. In another video, I will also document how to trigger this n8n again, because n8n is a stateful, and when it runs, it can stay there for a little bit, but then it should be released. So how can we make this a stateful? Probably using some sort of a data source. I believe this diagram will have a bunch of other small little elements in it, starting from a database. So we do need database. For example, we can go with Supabase. So I believe this would be the area where the statefulness will come. So some stuff will be written from there to there, from there to there, and we'll have obviously some storage, some other sort of persistence layers other than just Supabase database. Let's actually call it Supabase. I like Supabase, so let's go with Supabase. All right. So there will be more elements coming to this diagram, but the power of what I just want to show you guys is that right now we have n8n workflows running. It has this AI agent element or node, which can be basically an AI agent with an LLM. That LLM can be an OSID LLM, and then it can trigger blind clicks. Why blind clicks? Because there could be very small little things that you can click on the screen, or it can give some non-deterministic workflows to either computer use or OpenAI. Not to be announced, it is already announced. So OpenAI, by OpenAI. So operator by OpenAI. Or Agent.exe, whatever other solutions we find, that will be just a drop-down that you can choose your LLM-based AI agent executor. So that whatever task it is, we will have certain tasks which will be deterministic tasks, like that example of clicking things around inside I think it's here, inside a dative screen, because I'm absolutely sure, like it's my gut feeling that neither operator nor computer use can navigate through this kind of a screen. A blind click will be able to go through this screen. So if I emphasize on this one more time, we will have certain workflows that will go through blind click and certain workflows that will go through computer use. Why do I have these boxes one inside another one? Because what I'm trying to do is actually mount inside this virtual machine another virtual machine. So let's say on localhost 3030 we have the HTTP running. Maybe on 3031 we'll have computer use running, or 33, let's say we'll have computer like operator by OpenAI will be running. The reason I want to encapsulate it inside the same one is for one good reason. There will be certain limitations inside this thing, and this needs to be operated by another level, and that will be our level. And our layer will also have certain intelligence in it. It won't be 100% blind click. It will have certain OCRs for some workflows where we think that this is the time that we need to give the control to computer click. To computer use. Maybe that is confusing. To computer use or whatever. Like let's call it LLM-based clicks, computer usage. So at certain point in time, we'll give this to LLM-based computer usage. And at certain point in time, we'll do our own blind clicks. So here we'll have this blind clicks, but these blind clicks at some sort of intelligence will be there. LLMs will decide, okay, now this is the time when I have to upload an invoice inside Unternehmen Online in Dativ. Then he knows that I'm going to go there, I'm going to click that, I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to click that checkbox, and then I'm going to upload a a PDF file that I have just recently downloaded from Google Drive, referring to this diagram. So we'll have like Google Drive integrations. We already deterministically know exactly where we downloaded the PDF file, and then we'll go and browse the PDF file from there. So to wrap it up, it's a very complex project I'm building, and I want to document it as it goes. Since I'm only giving it a couple of hours per week, the intensity or the details that you'll see in these videos will be only a couple of additions every week, but it will definitely keep baking over time. The intentions of these episodes are just to document my skills, that things are possible even like it seems impossible and it's too early in its time. Probably everything that I'm trying to do now will be inside computer use and operator and co in a couple of months, maybe in a year, but I want to kind of like be ahead of time and try to document one workflow that will work 100% of the time, all the time, and even if it fails, it knows where it failed, and then it creates the right push notifications to the right people in order so that they can take an action. I just said something that I remembered, that this thing is also possible. I've never actually ran it myself, but it is possible to be executed from, right now the thing is all the shortcuts are inside this, but it's also possible that you can access this over an endpoint inside your phone. So if something is blocked here, so if we triggered a workflow that is right now in the blind clicks, and the blind clicks failed and it needs a human interaction, it can immediately create a push notification on your WhatsApp. You open on your WhatsApp on your phone, this thing will open as a, actually I can also do it like this. What I want to say is like it's responsive. So then you can open this inside your phone, and then from inside your phone you can operate this virtual machine, and then you can click through things and then basically unblock the AI agent that was trying to run something. So it's a lot of cool things happening. I'm super keen to see what's possible. Just as a closing point, I want to show you my portfolio. I just finished a couple of last things. I want to walk you through this, that I'm building AI agents for basically bookkeeping. I'm focusing more on bookkeeping and SMEs, and I have worked for SMEs before. If you guys are looking to hire someone as a freelancer taking care of bookkeeping, I'm keen to have a conversation. You can easily connect with me on WhatsApp here, or just connect with me on LinkedIn here, and we can talk about your project. Thank you.